welcome to another episode of Lie, Cheat, and Steal, the podcast about liars, frauds, thieves, and bullshitters. I'm your host, Pat Soroyce. Just to let you guys know, we do 2 episodes every month right here wherever you're listening to. You can come and find those. Also, if you like what you hear, go to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/lie, cheat, and steal. We have over 100 episodes in our back catalog. We drop 2 more every month, and you get access to our Discord server where a bunch of fun people are talking about scams. It's where you want to be. You also want to follow us on all the socials. We are at Lie, Cheat, Steal Podcast on TikTok, on Instagram, and on YouTube. You can watch full episodes in glorious video here at the Comedy Frequency and just see our beautiful smiling faces talking about all the scam artists out there in the world. If you haven't already, please give us a glowing review or wherever you're listening to this at, and a 5-star rating. If you don't like what you're listening to, keep it to yourself. Tell your family. I listen to these 2 assholes and I don't like them. But please don't publicly put us on blast. That being said, I'm here as always with my co-host, Kath Barbadoro. Kath, how you doing?
Hi, Pat. I'm good. We had a little break between episode recordings, and I had some hibiscus ice cream. It was delightfully refreshing. It's kind of a sorbet.
Yeah.
Very good. There's a place, I live in a West Indian, Jamaican, Caribbean neighborhood, and they use hibiscus a lot in, there's like a drink called sorrel that's made out of hibiscus, and this like little smoothie shop near me does this hibiscus soft serve ice cream. It's delicious.
Oh, hell yeah.
I got a little bit earlier today, had a little bit, put it in the freezer, just had a nice little treat.
That sounds refreshing. Delicious. I was at, I found myself at Fiesta Mart the other day. I had to pop in and take care of some shit. And I ended up grabbing me and the homegirl got agua frescas. And I went with my pineapple, but she got one just called Jamaica. And I was like, what flavor is that? And she was like, oh, it's hibiscus. It's like a tea flavor. And it was really good.
Jamaica.
There we go. Yeah, I apologize to everyone.
But no, like I did the same thing. I'm like, what is Jamaica? And they're like, oh no, that's like the Spanish word for hibiscus flower. And yeah, it's good. It tastes like it's almost like a little cranberry-ish. It's like kind of tart.
Yeah.
And floral, and like, yeah, it's really good. Thumbs up.
Yeah, there's a poke place that I really like to go to, and they have a freezer full of green tea mochis and mochis, and like I love those things. Are really good. I don't think they sell a denomination of mochis big enough because I'll just I'll tear through
those it. Those little baby ones.
Yeah, they're not cheap. You know what I'm saying? Especially I usually only go to places that sell them as like little desserts and stuff. They're like $3, and it's like I want to eat 10 of these, and I don't want to spend $30 on that.
I like the mochis. It's so hot. Like I'm doing a lot of frozen treats. I'm also trying to lose weight, so I'm always looking for like the low cal ones. And so right now the things I've been into are Good Pop makes like a healthier version of Bomb Pops that are really good. I like those. I think they're called cherry lemonade, but they're a Bomb Pop. And then I also really like these. It's called True Fruit, and they're frozen raspberries that are coated in a layer of white chocolate and then a layer of dark chocolate.
Oh so man, good. Yeah, that sounds like blackout.
The spot.
Yeah.
Really
man, I saw a great dessert TikTok the other day. Freeze watermelon slices, run them through a cheese grater into and make a little watermelon snow cone and put lime juice on it. I was blown away. I can't wait to try that. Yeah, I know.
This has just like changed my life.
Yeah. Well, I always thought it was gonna be a good episode when we just out the gate start talking about snacks. That's
Sadly, this does not have to do with snacks, but I feel like I have a very oblique segue.
Okay.
So it's been hot. One thing that's been a problem in Texas recently and historically is when it's hot, the power goes down.
Yep.
That is a thing that's going on in Houston right now because of the hurricane.
Yeah, shout out Houston, man. I hope you guys are doing okay.
Yeah, really. Don't get me started on how fucking mad I am at Greg Abbott.
Yeah.
But anyway, just all the time, but right now too. But so today we're going to talk about a thing that people do to make services stop, namely the internet, but just taking down grids is what this episode is about. It's about taking the grid down.
Taking down the grid. I'm for it unless the grid helps me in any way, in which case leave it back up.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that would have been a segue is the other day we were going to record, but we couldn't because the internet was
That's
out
right.
all
That
over
did
Austin.
happen. I completely forgot about that. That was like 6 days ago. I forgot. I completely forgot that happened.
And it might have been something like this. So we're going to do a little bit of tech. I want to prime you a little bit before we get into the main thing here.
Brave episode choice for Kath, who has walked me through every Zoom thing I've ever had to do. Because Zoom is my technical blank space because I did not have a job during the pandemic.
You don't have jobs that do. You have an actual job, so you don't need to use Zoom because you like do things at work.
Yeah.
Take meetings on a little screen. But yeah, so I will totally understand if you don't. I vaguely knew what this was before I did this episode, but this really helped me figure it out. Have you ever heard of a DOS attack or a DDoS attack?
No,
you know what that is?
I've heard of DOS, disk operating
MS-DOS.
system. Yes, of MS-DOS fame.
Yes.
And I know that when back in the day when things got really bad on the computer, you'd go into DOS and you could fix it that way.
Terminal.
Yeah, looks way less cool. It's just like blue screen, blinking white letters. Yeah, nothing, no razzle dazzle.
So a DDoS or a DOS attack it stands for denial of service is what it is.
Oh, okay.
And it's basically a cyber attack where whoever is attacking the website basically floods it with requests and sort of pings and fake traffic and stuff like that to overwhelm the server or the system or whatever it is and make it unable to differentiate between like hacked requests and real requests. So like a lot of times if I'm trying to think of like a notable one that's happened recently. It just like happens to websites occasionally. They'll get a DOS attack and you'll try to go to like Reddit and it'll be a 404 and it'll be because somebody has launched a cyber attack on Reddit or something like that. So yeah, it's sort of like you direct sort of like a stream of traffic toward a website or something to overwhelm the system, and that will crash it. So like Wikipedia has a good metaphor where it says, a DOS or a DDoS attack is analogous to a group of people crowding the entry door of a shop, making it hard for legitimate customers to enter. So the difference between a DOS and a DDoS attack, the extra D stands for distributed. So a traditional denial of service attack, all the requests are coming from one place, like one IP address or one server or something. A DDoS attack is when it's coming from multiple different places at once.
Okay.
So obviously a DDoS attack is much harder to stop.
Yeah.
Because if it's all coming from one place, they could just block that IP address or whatever, and that's how you quit it. DDoSes are much harder to deal with.
And I would imagine that lends to anonymity, just because it's like there's a million different fake. Although, I guess if you use a fake initial IP address, did that too. But yeah, it feels like it'd be way harder to track as well.
Yeah. And well, the way that it is usually done with the DDoS attack is with malware. So basically, viruses will infect different computers and then use them to perpetrate a DDoS attack. So a lot of times, like the people whose computer it is don't even know it's happening.
Yeah.
It's all happening sort of internally because a hacker has gained control of their computer or we're going to get into other things that they can take control of.
I feel like hackers probably feel like they missed the boat from the Napster days and the LimeWire days, because those were destroying computers left and right with all sorts of malware.
Yeah.
But also
people would just be able to download it without you even having to like sneak onto their computer. Like, I want Pretty Fly for a White Guy. That MP3. Here we go.
That's so. I believe I have LimeWired Pretty Fly for a White Guy.
Sure, we all have.
Yeah. Whom amongst us has not done that? But no, I also feel like back then when that was prevalent, was it like to what end? What are you going to get off a family's computer in 2001? You know what I'm saying? Like most parents were terrified to do any kind of banking or anything on the computer. Maybe get some emails, but it was like, what do you get? Like I stole all his Minesweeper scores or whatever. Like what were you really going to get?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was mostly to control them for things like this. And also just to sort of, I feel like a lot of early hacking was just sort of like to see if you could.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a lot of it.
It was like tagging to a degree, just like, like you see these like graffiti artists all over the place and you're like Well, I understand it because I think it's cool, but other people will be like, what motivates a person to just write their name everywhere? And it's like, man, if you don't get it, it ain't for you, brother.
Yeah. No, I can totally see that. So I just wanted to explain that because that is sort of the mechanism of our scam that we're going to talk about today, is that it is a DDoS attack, the likes of which the world had never seen.
Nice.
Sort of an innovation in this kind of old, like this has been around for a long time, but in 2016,
new spin on a classic, always a good idea.
So a lot of this comes from a Wired article from December 2017. It was written by Garrett M. Graff. I will hold off on saying the title of it because I feel like there's kind of a fun twist here. But Graff describes it as this DDoS attack. It was a thermonuclear bomb. It went from your AK-47 to a fucking nuke. The way that this DDoS worked. It was crazy.
I love it.
So yeah, we opened in August 2016. Again, these types of attacks have been around for quite a long time. So there's a whole FBI unit, cybercrimes unit that is dedicated to investigating DDoS attacks. And they start seeing this new form of this malware. So malware is like the stuff that gets onto the computer that then enacts the denial of service attack. So they start seeing this new malware, and what it did that was so smart and that enabled it to be so effective was it didn't infect computers. Like I think it would occasionally, but it primarily went after Internet of Things devices, which were starting to become really popular around this time.
Yeah.
2016, where you'd get your smart fridge and your smart TV and your smart, everything was smart, your lights, your microwave, any kind of appliance that could be connected to the internet was.
Yeah. Isn't it kind of crazy? You just walk into a place, somewhere like a thermonuclear bomb, you just walk into a place, most places just go, hey, Google, and you can fuck everything up.
Yeah, exactly. And this is kind of the beginning of that. And the thing is, when you add the internet to everything and you make it connected to this larger network, that means all of those things can now be hacked. People can get into all of that stuff now.
You're changing my damn cubed ice into crushed ice. What are you ruining my life over here?
They couldn't. I remember there was that there was a tweet. I don't even know if it was real, but it was a meme that was going around where it was it was a tweet or something, and it was my mom took my phone away, and it was sent from Frigidaire Smart. This is fucking great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what this malware would do is it would scan the internet for these Internet of Things devices that still had default usernames and passwords on them, which most of them did, because when people are buying a fridge, they're not setting a username and password for their fridge.
I would be terrified to do that to my fridge. I'm gonna want food one night.
I don't want to lock myself out.
Yeah. Sure. Man starves to death out of password protected fridge.
So yeah, a lot of people are just buying these without even really noticing that they're connected to the internet.
And they got little. This sounds like a dumb thing to say. But they got little computers in there. They're little. They're probably capable enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
They all have IP addresses. They can all be used for these nefarious purposes. And so that's what this malware was doing. And it was using these Internet of Things devices to launch denial of service attacks. So it would use your fridge to flood a website that it didn't like, or a server that it didn't like, to crash it.
Yeah.
And so this was you wouldn't know that this was happening. All you would see is that whatever the device was, if you were trying to access the internet, it would maybe be a little slow. That's all. So if you were trying to set your Nest thermostat or something, it would be laggy. But that can happen for whatever reason. So you could stop the malware if you rebooted it, but this malware was spreading so fast and was so effective, and unless you changed the username and the password, it would just immediately get reinfected again.
Yeah.
Because you still have the default username and password on it. So
just keeps.
It was easy to get rid of, but people didn't know.
Yeah.
You know?
He just keeps full in the fridge. Like, I think my fridge is clicking on like hot fridges in your area or whatever. Damn, horny ass fridge bringing the whole house down.
Deleting the history. I don't trust it. Going incognito mode on my fridge. That's when you're eating junk food. You don't want your fridge to know.
You go on the smart fridge into incognito. They don't know. They don't even know what's going on, dude.
So another thing that it would do is this malware would identify if there was competing DDoS malware on the device already, and it would delete it. So it was like wiping out its competitors as it was infecting these machines. So this malware was called Mirai. That's what it's called. It's called the Mirai Botnet, Mirai. And the reason they know this is because the person who claimed to be in charge of it was posting on like hacker forums about it.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that person. They were using the username Anna Senpai. So keep that in mind. Some weeb.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's called the Mirai Botnet. And it was spreading really, really fast. So in its first 20 hours after it was launched, it infected 65,000 devices.
Wow.
And it doubled every 76 minutes. So like this was huge. So it was infecting all of these devices. Apparently it got really big in Southeast Asia and South America. Brazil, Colombia, Vietnam, and China were the places where it was sort of most prevalent. And that's because those places are where consumer electronics are manufactured. Yeah, so it was just going ham.
Yeah.
So at its peak, it had some 600,000 devices around the world, and it could use all of those to launch DDoS attacks. And this meant that they could launch DDoS attacks like 10, 20 times bigger than any DDoS attacks that have happened prior to this.
Yeah, and so does that ever turn into like a hostage situation for a company where it's like you want this to stop, pay us this amount of money? Is that something they do, or
they could do that? We're gonna get into the origin of this. There are a lot of different things you can do with it. I think people do use it in sort of like corporate espionage and hostages and like ransom type stuff.
Apple, my attacks will stop when you put a headphone jack back on the phone.
Here's an instance. One of the early instances of it being used was to attack a French web hosting provider called OVH. So most DDoS attacks before this would use up bandwidth at a rate of about 10 to 20 gigs per second. And that was the largest one ever, which was by a competing malware called VDOS, had been about 50 gigs per second. Like that's how much they were running it. Mirai, this new one, hit OVH at its peak 900 gigs per second.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's
on another level.
Yeah. That's why the thermonuclear attack is correct. That's such a different level of warfare.
Yeah, and so it was at that time it was using 145,000 different devices to launch this DDoS on
just
OVH.
Fucking fridges and toasters and TVs coming at you, dude. That's like maximum overdrive.
So right after this happens, and this makes big news among like tech people, but it hasn't really like broken that yet. Like people who research this stuff are like, wow, this is really concerning. But other than that, it hasn't really gotten out.
I know it's always comes out in bad situations, but I always like when someone who's like an expert in a field or experts in a certain field look at something that seems like a benign problem and they're like, no, this is going to be bad. This is bad. Yeah. Like that's always a great part in a movie where you're like, no, the smart guy knew it was going to get bad.
Yeah. Well, here our smart guy is about to enter.
Nice.
So days after this OVH DDoS, Mirai turns its sights to this technology security reporter, this guy Brian Krebs. He has a blog that is very well known. He has a website well known in this industry called Krebs on Security, and Mirai, they DDoS him. So his
Oh shit!
he
This time
is
it's personal. This is like this is like killing John Wick's dog.
yeah, they're going after a security reporter to just be like, see what we can do.
Yeah.
Like, look what we can do. They're sort of showing off, honestly. So they go after him, and that attack peaks at 623 gigs per second. And his hosting provider, Akamai, ends up dropping his website because they're like, we cannot handle this bandwidth.
Yeah.
Like, it is the cost of defending against this is too much for us. So they drop his website, which this is like very concerning for people who watch this space, because this means that Mirai can and is interested in essentially forcing censorship on journalists.
Yeah,
like,
that's insane. Yeah. That's such a
really
crazy.
Scary.
Yeah, because like your host, your platform is going to be like, yeah, we can't do this. You're out. That's nuts, man. And that's also so insane that like I know all the things you just talked about. I know they all exist pretty much. Like, like I would have never thought this was even an option. Or even if you had told me about this thing, I would have been like, oh, it's like you censored journalists. I'm over here like fucking crash DoorDash and make them give you free food to get it back. Like that's the limit of where my imagination took this.
Go after Sally Mae, you motherfucker.
Yeah. If you don't forgive my friend's student loans, I don't have any, but if you don't forgive my friend's student loans, like, I'll be so pissed.
Yeah, so like, again, security researchers in this space are like, this is really scary. This seems like it might be some espionage shit. This might be like China or Russia or something doing this. And they get very concerned about this. So the feds are looking into this. The network companies like Akamai, who hosted Brian Krebs, they start looking into this. And they sort of they like code these things that look like they're a smart fridge or whatever, and watch the way they get infected so they can like learn about how this is working, and also learn about who they're DDoSing.
Yeah.
Because they have this sort of simulated infected apparatus.
It's like a bait fridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a bait fridge.
Did they put it in a dress, make it look really pretty? It was like Bugs Bunny. It was just like
they call it a honeypot.
So, yeah. Among top 5 horniest tech terms.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that's like a real twist to me. So what they notice is that more often than anything else, the thing getting hit is Minecraft servers. That's what keeps getting DDoSed, is Minecraft servers. And so I want to read this. I feel like most people probably know what Minecraft is. I didn't. I sort of vaguely knew what it was.
Yeah.
This Wired article, Graph, explains what this is, I think, very well. So Minecraft, it's a game. It costs like under $30, and it's very simple. It looks more like sort of an 8-bit, like 80s or 70s game than like a fucking Assassin's Creed or something.
Yeah.
It's like a very sort of basic, but the thing about it is it's like super, super open world. You can like build whatever you want. It's sort of like I don't know, you can make like a little society on these different, and the way it works is different sort of worlds in Minecraft are hosted on different servers. So and this game is hugely popular. Like I think Microsoft bought it for like $1 billion.
Yeah, my roommate's son is 11, and so like that's his entire world. Like,
yeah. Well, that'll come up that this is like mostly played by young people, and it is the second best-selling video game ever. After, do you want to guess what the number 1 is?
Oh man, I'm gonna date myself if I say this. I remember
it's an old one.
Is it Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time?
It is not.
No. Okay, what is it? GoldenEye?
It is Tetris.
Oh,
Tetris.
shit.
Number 1 selling video game of all time.
Damn, yeah. There we go. I like that's crazy. And also every phone I've ever had has had Tetris on it. And it is now a mockery of what was happening. It used to be you paid $2.99, you downloaded Tetris, and you never were bored ever again in your whole life. And now, like, because you can play it on a flight, you can play it off the internet. Now it is not pay to play, but they're like, you can buy 30 gold. It's like, what would I even clicked on it to see what it would do, but what the hell?
Fucking subscription bullshit.
Yeah, what do
let me play Tetris.
The hell would I need gold in Tetris for? I don't want to think about I don't want to imagine in that world. And yet I have to do that. And now because of that, I can't play it offline. You cannot play Tetris offline on your phone anymore. I'm sure some nerd out there is like, well, actually, shut up. I don't have that. Right? Like, and it's that, and also SimCity Mobile. What greater a game to play on mobile than SimCity? They can fit the whole original one on your phone, and doesn't exist. What instead exists is one where it's like, you want the building to get built faster? 100 gold. Like I say, get rid of the digital gold standard, because that shit is everywhere, and I hate it. All right, rant over, I apologize. But yeah, Tetris, that's crazy. I do think Ocarina of Time's on that list somewhere. It has to be, or I will be very heartbroken.
I don't know the rest of the list, but I do know Minecraft is number 2. And so like people, you can have hosted servers that allow people to play in like sort of multiplayer mode. So you're like playing against and with other people to like build little things in Minecraft or whatever. And this is so popular that this has become like really profitable. So if you have like a good server in Minecraft, you can make a ton of money, because people who want to play on that server will basically pay you to like rent space in your server. And
so it's like you can franchise and like run your own server. It's like outside of like the corporate entity.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow, I had no clue about that.
So like, yeah, if you have the game, it's sort of like I think you can do similar things on a lot of like massive multiplayer online games, where it's still Minecraft, but like, you log into like this particular space that is run by this person who is presumably paying like hosting fees and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you run a really good one, people will pay you to be on it.
Yeah.
And there are also like there are in-game purchases, like we were just talking about. So it can get like really profitable for people. Like really, really good Minecraft servers, they can make like $100,000 a month.
Whoa.
So, and because this is so profitable and lucrative, people will DDoS competing servers to take them offline. And if your server is laggy, that's like one of the main things that will cause people to not use it. So that seems to be what the initial intent of this whole thing was just to make money on Minecraft.
Yeah. And what an insane application.
OVH, OVH, the French, remember the French internet host, the thing that got hacked first. They had they were very well known for offering this service called VAC, and it was like a Minecraft DDoS mitigation tool. So it was like a way to prevent your Minecraft server from being DDoSed.
Wow.
And that's why they got DDoS. It had nothing to do with foreign governments.
Damn.
It was fucking Minecraft. Isn't that crazy?
That is insane. What? Like that's crazy, because also like initially if I heard that, I'm like, oh, this is what like that sounds such low stakes, but it's not. It's like you're making $100,000 a month, or like a cool $1 a year, 1.2. Like that's a huge incentive to slow the other person down. Also, that's, you know what, I'm gonna say that I don't know anything about what the spirit of Minecraft is, but fellas, I think that goes against it.
It's mean.
I'm gonna say you are doing a disservice to the name of Minecraft. Also,
about cooperation and shit.
A French company named
DDoSing each other.
A French company named OVH. I guarantee you, it's just like here at the OVH, or as we call it. It's actually not an acronym. It's just But damn.
And so like the thing with all of these people launching this malware, they also would offer DDoS mitigation services essentially as a protection racket.
Yeah.
They'd be like, we won't turn this against you if you pay us.
Oh, it's a lovely little concrete or little like building block city you have here. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
Exactly.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
It's all digital. It's like digital, the digital mob. That's insane. I'm truly
crazy.
shocked by that.
And so, yeah, like going after the security guy, it was, again, a way to sort of advertise DDoS mitigation. Is like, look what we can do, because everybody who cares about internet security is reading this guy.
Yeah.
So everybody knows about it. And
it's like in Peaky Blinders when they killed the journalist. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like, Yeah. Also, I can just imagine like fucking Christopher Moltisanti explaining this to Tony.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, Tony. We tell the nerds that will destroy their little city unless they pay us the money.
This could have saved the Jersey mob if they knew about this.
Yeah. Yeah. They needed to get out of
deal with fucking Phil Leotardo. They could have gotten out of it.
Man, yeah, Johnny Sack couldn't have came in South Jersey. If they would have had this bread coming in like that, yeah, they would have fucking DDoS Jenny Sack's food ordering apps and like that.
Yeah, took down Grubhub. Would have been sunk.
You can't cancel a made man's wife's Grubhub account.
So yeah, like what these forensic investigators of this stuff found was they were like, it seemed like this started as just a Minecraft thing, and then when they realized how effective it was, then it just became like a sort of bragging rights thing of like, let's see how big we can get this.
Yeah.
And again, like with these Minecraft, with these competing DDoS things, that's why they were like knocking competitor services off of these devices, like how they would wipe if there was other malware,
that's right,
they would wipe it.
Yeah.
It's so that they couldn't use it to bust up their Minecraft servers that they were paying protection to. So it's like a mob war on your fridge.
Yeah, you even know what's happening. You're just getting chilled ice water, and you're like, have no clue that this war is being fought. That is insane, and that is like, I like that itself isn't paradigm shifting, but it's just like it's indicative of the paradigm shift. That's just that's. Probably the fifth time I said this. That's fucking crazy. that legitimately, like, we talk about a lot of scams on these things, and they're always fun. But that one, like, legitimately blew my mind. That is insane.
I love finding like a really brand new one. Always exciting. So this starts getting really big, and like after they go after Krebs, it seems like they sort of start to panic, and what they do, something that a lot of hackers will do in this situation. They release the source code of the Mirai botnet to a hacker forum. And the reason they do this is so that if they get caught, they won't have the smoking gun because it will be publicly available information. So
wow. That is also insane.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. These guys are good.
So the Anna Senpai account posts the code for Mirai because the heat's, it's getting too hot for them.
I guess they could do the digging and go to see where the initial post was made from. That might be a clue.
Yeah, I mean, they like are through layers and layers and layers.
Yeah, code is as I understand it, is pretty dense. So you can't just like.
I just mean like the accounts they're posting from.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Tor and VPN.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
After VPN and after VPN. So like they're fairly well protected. But so they released this source code, and this is something that like malware authors will do if they feel like the investigators are sort of closing in on them. But this is what causes even more problems because now anybody can use this malware. Anybody with like some knowledge of how to do a DDoS attack now has access to all of these devices.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's when things like really hit the fan. So in October of 2016, this domain name server called DYN, DYN, gets DDoSed. And DYN is a service that basically, you know how like you type in google.com or whatever, but your computer is using an IP address to get there. It's not using the letters google.com. It's using like a sequence of numbers. So DYN was a service that translated a written address into an IP number. So obviously, like, very important.
Yeah.
Like, really, really important to, like, how the internet works.
Yeah.
And so DYN got DDoSed. And the investigators then, because we're going to get into who actually was convicted for this, the people who created the Mirai botnet did not do this attack. It was somebody using the open source code. So they attacked DYN.
This is so intriguing. This is like they find the guy and he's like, yeah, I made the code, but that wasn't even me. Someone else has got it. It was even crazier. Now he's got to team up with the Krebs guy, and they got to go to the jungle and get John McAfee, the original antivirus warrior. And this needs to be a movie. That's insane.
So Din takes out like the whole fucking internet on the East Coast. Like millions of people could not access the internet. It was like down and janky. Like you couldn't get on Amazon, you couldn't get on Netflix. Like everything was down. And Din later said like it was so bad, like they don't even really understand the full magnitude.
Yeah.
But it seems like it was, you know how like we were talking about gigs before?
Yeah.
So 1,000 gigs is like a I don't know, a tera or like a trillion or something.
Checks out.
It's so this was 1.2 TBPS per second. So
1.2 tablespoons per second. Oh
yeah.
no!
But it was like so before Mirai, the DDoSes were like 10 or 20 gigs. This is 1,200 gigs.
That's
like,
fucking
yeah. 120 times what they are seeing before. So just like everything, you know, and they were using like fucking DVRs and webcams and like anything you could think of to just batter Din. So that's when people were like, we really need to fucking shut this shit down.
Yeah.
We need to find the people who did this.
They need to deploy girlfriends into this.
Or honeypot.
Yeah. Just airdrop girlfriends into this fucking place and like just watch the productivity just go offline.
So this is kind of interesting to me too. So the this was all being investigated. It was being investigated all over the place. But the people who actually, the jurisdiction that ended up actually charging them was in Alaska. And the reason for this, the reason there's a lot of cybercrime investigation in Alaska is because internet is so indispensable up there because there's so many communities that are so remote.
Oh yeah.
That like a denial of service attack can like cut off a community from the outside world.
Yeah.
And it can be really like life threatening. Like you really need connectivity.
It's tough up there with the internet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So this is all being investigated by the cybercrimes unit in Alaska, and the Wired article goes into a lot of like how they did this, and it's pretty interesting. I'll give you like a couple details. So, first they had to establish that Mirai had infected devices in Alaska, which like statistically it obviously did.
Yeah.
But they had to prove it, and they had to get like documentation of this. So they would find the IP addresses of infected devices, figure out who owned that IP, and then go to people's houses and be like, we need to talk to you about your smart fridge.
That seems like a tougher place to get your foot in the door. You know what I'm saying?
It just seems like, how far back do you have to start explaining what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, you know?
I know they don't live in igloos. But like, that is because somebody shows up at your door, like they're gonna sound crazy. Like when you talk about your fridge, it's doing this thing, and it's like, I don't have it's cold outside. What are you talking about? I keep the beer outside.
They would need to basically just be like, hey, this is not on purpose, right? Like you did not give these people permission to use your fucking microwave this way, right? And they would be like, no. And then, you know, it'd be okay. But like, yeah, it's just very complicated to explain to like an ice fisherman or something.
Yeah.
You know? So they had to do that. And then like they would have to go with like a subpoena to somebody's house basically, and like subpoena their fucking light bulb or whatever.
For bringing in for questioning and shit. They got the light in its face and a pack of smokes on the table.
So then they would like try to trace it back to the main control server. So this like through court orders and through like all of these different, you know, nested things, they would sort of reverse engineer how this network was coordinated and sort of find the like central node. And it took them like a year, but they did finally figure out who did it. And there were 3 people. They called them the Cub Scouts because, believe it or not, with hacking shit, they were extremely young.
Yeah, so, right. Yeah. What do you know?
Hacking for Minecraft, I can't believe it.
Yeah,
They were all Really young.
The Cub Scouts is hilarious because like the Boy Scout, well, because Boy Scout has a positive connotation to it. You call it the Boy Scouts. Yeah, Cub Scouts also it hits hard. Like it's like the Cub
It's a
Scouts.
little diminutive. It's a little insulting.
Yeah, get out of here, you little weeblos. What are you doing?
Exactly.
Yeah, quit touching the remote.
So, they sort of traced it down to like the people, and the people there are 3 people involved. Their names are Paras Jah, Josiah White, and Dalton Norman. Those are our 3 guys.
I just love like the nerd crew is like one Indian kid.
One Indian kid and 2 white guys.
Yeah.
If you had me guess, I might have guessed that.
Yeah. I had to take a stab. I was like, I gotta say the non-principal cast of The Big Bang Theory.
So, Paras Jah seems to be the ringleader. He seems to be the one in charge. So he was a student at Rutgers, so very close to me. That's in New Brunswick, over in New Jersey. It's like a big New Jersey university.
He was in Jersey. He could have sold this to the mob. That's
Honestly, he was born and raised in Jersey.
Oh hell yeah!
So I feel like if he was running a protection racket in Jersey, potentially the FBI kind of the better person who might have caught him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's their turf. I don't know if Minecraft is their turf.
No, Jersey is. I could just see like some mobster just hearing about this, about some young, like first generation kid, born and raised in New Jersey, does this protection racket, but his digital is online. It's like a tear of pride rolls down his cheek, and he's like, "Fuck, man, the kids are all right. The kids are all right."
I do feel like it was sort of a missed opportunity for Sopranos to not investigate this as like an element of organized crime.
Yeah, well, I guess it was at the time they came out, like they got into like the fake stock stuff.
Yeah.
I
was thinking about that with this. Yeah. Like that's kind of as close as they got.
I love the Christopher Moltisanti explaining.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, the Christopher Moltisanti explaining modern day things memes. Where he was telling Tony, he was like, "Yeah, they're called the NFTs, Tony. It's like a picture, but it's worth a lot of money because it's made from computers."
Yeah, like we could have had so much more of that if they went into cybercrime. They did like the calling cards and stuff. Like they were getting there. But
yeah.
I don't know. The show ended in 2007. They could have had some more computer shit, because I feel like that's what mostly they do now is like traffic in stolen credit card numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, Paras Jah, born and raised in New Jersey, went to Rutgers. Beginning in his first year at Rutgers was the victim of a dozen DDoS attacks. And they were always around midterms, which is sick.
Oh, hell yeah. Dude, that's like
why don't you DDoS fucking Fannie Mac and Sally Mae?
Yeah.
Freddie Mac, yeah.
Yeah, just trying to buy yourself an extra week on your midterm,
Yeah, he was doing it around midterms, which, it would like disrupt everything. And that's dope. That makes you a people's hero, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But he was doing it because he was trying to, like a lot of these hacking things, he was trying to alert them to vulnerabilities in their system.
Yeah.
And again, like with a lot of this stuff, he was trying to start a DDoS mitigation company. So like you would do this, and then it's sort of a protection.
It's a protection racket with an LLC. That's
right. But it is also a legitimate service. Like people do need. So like one of the most well-known DDoS mitigation companies is called Cloudflare. If you ever see that, like on a website or something, that's like a DDoS protection. Like there are ways to do this that aren't just threatening to use your software against people. But he was trying to sort of show that like there was a problem here, and like he would write anonymous posts like Rutgers cybersecurity is a joke and stuff like that. So yeah, he was like a nerd from jump. They were talking about how he like won a bunch of science fair shit in like middle school. Like he's always been into engineering and stuff. So his DDoS mitigation company was called ProTraf Solutions, and one of the other guys, Josiah White, also worked at ProTraf Solutions. So they were like, they had a LinkedIn, like this was like legit, stuff.
Dude, you wonder why, like, some guy in the office, like, I don't know why I don't get invited to happy hour Fridays. It's like, because they're discussing organized crime. Like, that's why you're not.
They're doing illegal shit. With Mirai, like, these 3 guys, they each sort of had their own role in making this work. So it seemed like he was the one who wrote most of the original code. So he was the one who sort of figured this out. And he was the one who would be sort of like obviously you have to be anonymous, but sort of, for lack of a better term, the face.
Yeah.
So he was the one posting as Anna Senpai. And the other thing to know is Mirai is also named after some anime shit. So like these are nerds.
Yeah.
So that's what Ja's thing was. And then Josiah White, who also worked at ProTraff, he used the much cooler online monikers of Lightspeed and The Genius.
Oh,
those
there
are
you
much
go.
better.
Yeah.
Thumbs up to those.
Yeah.
Good job. So he ran most of the infrastructure. He was the one who designed the sort of scanner that identified potential devices. So like Mirai wrote the malware, and this guy wrote the thing that exploited these machines. So both of these people were like extremely instrumental. Like you needed both of these things to make this so big. And then Dalton Norman, the third guy, he would sort of like find the vulnerabilities. It was called 0-day exploits, which like I don't totally understand, but he basically would like use sort of loopholes that people who made these machines didn't realize. So he would find these like sort of security vulnerabilities that would allow these devices to get infected. So the three of these people, it really did seem like in the subsequent trial and everything that they really did just start this to do Minecraft shit.
Yeah.
And then they were like, holy shit, we have built the best one of these in the history of the world.
Yeah.
So, like, and that was like very exciting to them, but also like extremely caused a lot of panic because like, again, when this was happening, people thought this was like the Russian intelligence.
Yeah.
You know what I
So
mean? Like they didn't think it was a guy at Rutgers in like his second year.
Yeah.
You know?
We discussed this before where scams work too well. And it's like, oh shit, this is like, I always think of Office Space when they do the steal a penny program, and it steals way more than a penny. And like he checks the account and it's like $300,000. Yeah.
Precisely. This is something that like was simply too effective. And so it's interesting, by the time they actually got caught, they had cooled off of using this because they knew that it was like going to get them in serious trouble. So what they were doing instead is they were using all of these devices, instead of using them for DDoS attacks, they were using them to click on ad links in mass. They were coding them as if they were viewing advertisements and then making thousands of dollars a month defrauding advertisers.
Shit.
So they would like sell them views basically.
That seems,
and it was just your light bulb going to click on an ad.
Yeah.
You know?
That's cool. That seems like sustainable. That's just mailbox money at that point.
You're just ripping off marketing departments.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I more of that. My friend is married to he listens to me out there holler. I'm not throwing no names out, but he is married to the daughter of a direct mail millionaire. Like that's the guy who sends you junk mail. And we were just joking when they got married. I was like, dude, your fucking invitations need to be on like a glossy stock, and it's just like,
hell yeah, that'd be so good.
Everyone just throws them away. They just don't even think about what they are.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So they like have already switched to another extremely lucrative thing that's going to get them in less trouble. Unfortunately, it was too late. They got caught. There's a funny quote from one of the prosecutors who said, "I've certainly been made to feel very old and unable to keep up." It's like all these like old Alaskan law officials were just like, wait, what? They can take over my DVR? Yeah. Like, what are you talking about?
And what was Senpai? I'll just Google it. Like, well, don't do that. He has like a list of terms he needs to Google. It's like waifu.
So yeah, and like the fact that they were doing this clicking, like ad clicking thing, they had innovated that. Like people weren't doing that yet. So like these guys are really, really good at this.
Yeah, these dudes. I mean, So curious. Obviously, I know we're gonna get to it. What happened and how was it? Anyway, yeah. I'm sorry. Go on. There's things I want to know.
Yeah. So, what happened with them is often the case with people who are charged with cyber crimes like this. They immediately start cooperating.
Yeah.
Like, especially too, because they're like young.
Yeah.
And so they like immediately start helping the government sort of identify and combat these types of DDoS attacks, this type of hacking, this type of malware, because they know it inside and out.
They went full Abagnale.
Exactly. They're like internet Abagnales. And the government said by the time of sentencing, the trio had already collectively logged more than 1,000 hours of community service, helping to identify and stop these attacks.
Yeah.
So they're like already helping. A lot of times with this kind of stuff, if it's allowable for them to be hired, they will get jobs with the government.
100%.
Like, doing this kind of
so
stuff.
They get like 1,000 hours of community service. Like they're currently at 1,300. We can't get them out of there. They're just,
they're just going wild in the service.
Yeah, like guys, community service is over. Let's get out of here.
So by the time they were sentenced, they were Parastra was 22, Dalton Norman and Josiah White were 21. They were each sentenced to 5 years probation, 2,500 hours of community service, and they were each ordered to pay $127,000 in restitution.
Oh, that part sucks. Okay.
I mean, but they were making thousands a month.
Yeah.
They got it like that.
Yeah.
They got it like that.
I hope they do. Yeah, like I'm like it seems like I know if I was making thousands of dollars a month off of a scam and shit hit the fan and I had to pay $127,000 back, I'd be like, I'm gonna need to think of a new scam because I don't know. Like, yeah, but like I don't know. Maybe like they were young. Maybe they're like it seems like they had it or whatever. Like,
and there are people who can get extremely high paying jobs very quickly.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be okay. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up working for the government.
100%. And that's just such a cool, like, that's one of those, like, that story gives it mad clout. You know what I'm saying? It's a cool story to tell. You didn't do anything. You didn't hurt anybody. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a story you can tell about having, like, kind of like a cool checkered past, but it doesn't offend anybody or turn anyone off. People are like, what? That's
Nobody
sick.
was, like, harmed.
Yeah.
The thing, though, that is sort of troubling is, like, yes, they were apprehended. Yes, they are. Their job is now to try to stop this stuff, but the malware that they invented is still out there and in use. And DDoS attacks are now exponentially larger thanks to the work of these guys. Which again, of like the crimes that we cover, it's a fairly harmless one. They didn't hurt anybody or anything. But this is still like a big problem.
Yeah, so, literally, it's almost like I know they didn't invent it, but they made the best one. Like you can, in the history of that crime, there is like a pre them and a post them.
Yeah,
you know, which is again kind of cool, but also I see,
cool.
like they're like little Oppenheimers, little Minecraft Oppenheimers.
Right, because that's the thing is like you could use this for nefarious purposes as well. But since they released the code, like lots and lots of people are sort of able to do this. And like this was in 2017, like our things have evolved, like things have moved forward. I do not know to what extent the Mirai Botnet is still in use, but certainly things influenced by their malware are out there and fucking shit up for people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I feel like this is a fairly chill sentence. I think it was kind of worth it if you're a computer nerd.
Yeah.
Because it's like pretty fascinating. It's a cool story. Other nerds are gonna buy you drinks for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And like by the time they're done with probation, they're not even 30 yet. Like they're out there, you know?
Dude, yeah.
So fucking good for them.
Good for them. Yeah, that rips. Now I'm gonna head back to the crib, be looking at the fridge all sideways and shit. Like, what are you plotting? What's going on in you? Damn, that's rad. This definitely I'm seeing like not Catch Me If You Can vibes. What's like the Now You See Me or Now You Don't? What where the Nerds Accounting Cards in Vegas, which that was at
oh yeah. Is that the one with Kevin Spacey?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
it's definitely like The Power of Nerds.
Yeah, I can see like a fun little thriller, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, dude, like I am here for this. That's cool shit. Yeah, also, yeah, definitely worth it. kind of the sentence wasn't that bad. They're going to pay that off. Social clout out the ass.
I can say the title of the article.
Yeah, I was going to ask
it's how a dorm room Minecraft scam brought down the internet. So check that out. Shout out to Garrett Graff for writing a great, super informative, really well-researched article. December 2017 in Wired. Read it. And yeah, hopefully someone will option this from him and make a sick movie about it.
Yeah, that'd be dope. I hope so, man. Well, yeah, Kath, thank you so much. That was such a fun and cool episode. So thank you so much for bringing that to us. This is going to be out in the future. I don't know if you got anything coming up.
I think when this comes out, I think I'm going to France like 2 days later. So hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, OVH to you as well.
To me.
Yeah. Yeah, as they say in Francois, OVH. Yeah, guys. Well, again, thank you so much, Kath. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I did. It was a great episode. We have tons of episodes on our Patreon. If you like what you heard, we have over 100 in our back catalog. And you can go there. It's patreon.com/lie, cheat, and steal. And yeah, get on that. You also get access to our Discord server where there's tons of fun, cool people talking about the episode that just came out and just scams in general that we don't have a chance to cover or whatever. Cool place to be. You're going to want to check it out. That's patreon.com/lie, cheat, and steal. We do 2 more of these every month for free. You can hear that anywhere you listen to the podcast, but wherever you are, please go ahead and give us a good review and a 5-star rating. That helps get the word out. But also, follow us on all the socials. That's we're everywhere. We're at Instagram, TikTok, and on YouTube. It's at Lie, Cheat, Steal Podcast. And that's where you can find us. And I'm on Instagram at PZTX. And Kath, where we can find you at?
I'm at Kath Barbadoro. I'm also Kath_Barbadoro on TikTok. I just started posting on there, so I'd appreciate it if you follow me.
Yeah, guys, get out there. Let's get those numbers up, baby. All right. If you can, log into every device in your home. And if you maybe write a code.
Microwave.
Yeah. Make my neighbor's lamp follow me on TikTok. Like this is the world I want to live in. All right, guys. Dude, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys are out there thinking of new safe scams and perpetrating them in such cool ways. But if you do, be safe, be smart, but above all, don't get caught.